Hello and welcome to tonight's broadcast. This has been recorded from Wednesday night on Doadrift Esports. My name's Robert Hastings and I'll hand you over now to tonight's commentator, Zach Haven.
Hello to you, Rob. Hi, everybody. Good to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around the world, be it via, of course, our Facebook channel, our Twitch page, and also our YouTube account as well. Doadrift Esports, and a special edition of Thursday Night Motorsport coming your way, replaying all the action from Wednesday night. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club action from the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. As per usual, 2 races on the program, just 24 hours later. But tonight it's, of course, the up-and-comers in the Pro Mazdas for the 3rd week in succession, followed by the TCR and GT4 series. Both races 40 minutes in length. And the aerial shots courtesy of Oculair show and tell the story. Not only are the Canadians gathering pre-social distancing era of 2020, but they're also getting ready for a cracking race here on a beautiful day in Quebec. Of course, we should point out in Montreal, I should say, the fact of the matter is that we've got a captivating up-and-comers series on our hands here. Jackson Rayhana leading the way here, 294 points from Tim Harris, 244.5, 207.5 for Warwick Sharp, Michael Latta on 205.5, and Jonathan Turner on 204 points. They are the standings at this point in time as we enter this round of the championship. Brett Selby Wood, 192, Tony DeRossi, 184.5, and then, of course, Chris McHale on 172. Curtis Williams, 161, and Julian Mucky, 160 points. Fine day in Canada. Let's run through the race facts here, of course. I don't have all the race facts for the up-and-comers. I have them for GT4 and TCR, but as you know, this circuit, it is 4.36 kilometres. It is a 40-minute race, and we're looking forward to what might unfold here as the broadcast goes on. Cars heading out on the circuit as per usual for the latter stages of qualifying here, which we'll update you on in just a moment. The information coming to hand for this race, I've now got it up on screen here. Weather, partly cloudy, 20 degrees, track temp of 24 degrees. Winds will be westerly to 12 kilometres an hour. And as I say, the race, 40 minutes. Pace car speeds, 97 kilometres an hour. Pit lane speed limit, 64 kilometres an hour. Incident count, 17 incident penalties, and then obviously every 5 penalty points after that. And 1 fast repair limit. We saw a couple of weeks ago how quickly the 1 fast repair expired. That point of the circuit there that you just saw, the Wall of Champions, that's going to be a talking point this evening. Turn 13 and 14 on this circuit. There's the end of the back straight, of course. A key overtaking opportunity there, but you've got to be mindful, of course, of that chicane and the Wall of Champions on the exit on the right-hand side. Chicanes are a big talking point around this circuit. There are 4 of them, in fact, not least that one at the end of the back straight, but also, of course, the section through turns 3 and 4, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, all key overtaking opportunities. And of course that hairpin going into turn 10, a key overtaking opportunity as well. Fast flowing circuit with a couple of slow corners along the way, most notably, of course, as I mentioned, the hairpin at turn 10, but also the hairpin at turn 2. So the average speed, lap speed that is, will be high. And as we've said in the lead up here, the man to beat is Jackson Rayhana. There is no doubt about that. Look, let's run you through because I'm not 100% sure. You'll see it on your screen there, but I don't have that information on me at this point in time. Again, the perks of going delayed rather than live. But we should point out that in the qualifying session here for this round of the series, it's no real surprise that Jackson Rayhana is in the thick of the action. As far as qualifying is concerned, he was the fastest from Adam Coughlin. 0.885 the margin. Incredible stuff there. Tim Harrison, Julian Mucky, row 2. Warwick Sharp and Brad Stoyescu. He's there on the 3rd row. 4th row, Brett Selby Wood and Baden McDonald. 5th row, Stephen Grimer And also Dylan the Kid Gray sitting there rounding up the top 10. Massive field tonight. In fact, we should point out we've got 32 cars logging laps in the qualifying session here. And we'll have, I believe, 34 starters for this race tonight. So a massive field, open wheelers. Gotta love that in Montreal, Canada.
Hey, Zach,
Yes, Robert?
I can bring us into the start of the race now if you're all ready to go.
I'm as ready as anything, mate. We'll get racing underway here. Of course, I was about to say, of course, GT4 and TCR on the back end of this race. And another con, I guess, to the fact that we aren't live, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we won't be able to talk to our drivers in post-race chat as we normally do. We'll have all that back on deck for you next week, of course. And a huge thanks to the people within the Gentleman Sim Racing Club that have made it possible for us as we get the race underway. Or actually, no, we'll go back and get that back underway now. There we go. Off the line nicely. Jackson Rayhana jumped well on the run down towards turn 1. Now watch everybody scramble through here because it's very, very tight. Let's hope they get through. So far, so good, somewhat surprisingly. And that's their way around for the first time towards turn 4. So Rayhana's going to lead them through. Massive field here. I'm a little bit surprised because normally we talk about turns 1, 2, 3, 4 being a trouble point on the opening lap. Not so this time around. We do have a spinner there, however. The Cataclysm entry. In fact, he's just went the quickest out and getting out of there. They head down towards turn 10 for the first time. A couple of cars with a bit taily, waggly. Down there on the inside, that's the number 4. That was Dylan Gray making a move. So down the long back straight for the first time. Slipstream and draft here will be key. Rayhana leads them into turn 14 for the first time on the main straight. Let's have a look here. Couple of cars running wide, skipping the chicane. Oh, trouble. They're on the wall of champions. It was only a matter of time. So let's have a look here on the second lap. Cars going everywhere at this point in time. And I apologise to everyone watching at home, but you've got statistics rolling across the screen there. I'm unfortunately having a little bit of trouble with mine here at my end, but no real surprise, Rob, I guess, that Jackson Rayhana, being the foreman of this series, has extended an early lead.
Yeah, look, I'm also looking at what's going on. It's saying checkered flag on the screen, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
No, it's definitely not checkered flag. It's only lap 2.
I'm not sure if that's something I can fix, unfortunately.
Oh, trouble. Monster pile-up potentially here at turn 9. Thankfully, it looks as though everyone's managed to avoid it somehow. I don't know how. 3 cars have been caught up in it, but they have been able to get back going. The long drag down the back straight. Just bear with me here, folks. I'm picking up some information here as quickly as we can. Down there on the inside, overtaking manoeuvre made possible as a car went into the pit lane. There were a few ambitious moves there at the end of the back straight. One thing I've loved about the Up and Comer series so far, the different liveries we've seen here. Of course, with Jackson Rayhana, for instance, we've talked about the Target Chip Ganassi entry.
And everyone who's watching now should see that the checkered flag has gone. We are back to
So 22 to go. That gives you a fair indication of what's ahead for you, folks.
Even
Here's Rayhana.
Even offline, the technology's against me. Look at that.
Well, this is exactly right. Exactly right. So Rayhana heading down into the hairpin once more. A couple of cars have already headed into the pit lane. Not least Williams and Hughes. Here's Rayhana heading down towards turn 13 and 14 one more time. Already cleared out to a pretty extensive early lead here. On board here with the car running in third position at the moment.
This is car number 5,
Adam Coughlin. Yeah, I was just about to ask the question. I thought it was Adam Coughlin, judging by the green helmet there. And again, folks, this will be an ongoing thing. Rob and I will be talking back and forth during the next 40 minutes just to try and piece this all together because, unfortunately, as you heard him say a couple of minutes ago there, technology against us at the moment. I have to thank Adam Lavis for going to the effort to set us up with some new software to give us some live timing during the race. Unfortunately, it just doesn't want to work with our replays here. So, I mean, I've got it all up and running on the screen. It's just giving us a misrepresentation of exactly what's going on out there, and we knew that could be potentially the case. So Adam Coughlin chasing, is it Tim Harris or Warwick Sharp there in front of him, Rob? Out of turn 11, down the long back straight, the kink through turn 12, flat out, hard and fast. Coughlin chasing the 093, of course, that is Tim Harris. Pitches are a little bit less grainy on my end tonight, which makes it a little bit easier to tell you what's going on here now, which is good, although I speak too soon probably.
You can see that beautiful carbon fibre on those front cars.
The presentation is top shelf and the graphics incredible. We highlight that every week. It's just unfortunately my computer probably wasn't constructed to accommodate such high quality. So we'll work with it as best we can. So this is the ongoing battle for second and third, Coughlin and Harris. Yes, Rob?
I love being on board with these cars, specifically in iracing. Just the angles that Adam's managed to get just look so good. You can almost feel that rubber flying off the tyres there on the front of the car.
Yeah, exactly right. And it also, I mean, we talk all the time about the work that Adam Lavis does to implement the onboards, and they look precisely as they would if you're watching a broadcast of the Pro Mazdas on, I think NBC's the broadcaster in the United States. They're right there where they would normally be, and that's one of the great things about having people on board who care so much about attention to detail. As we watch Adam Coughlin continue his pursuit of Tim Harris here. This looks like it'll be the ongoing battle that we need to pay attention to tonight. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in on Doadrift Esports. Coughlin pokes the nose out, but again, not close enough to slipstream. He's just not getting there at this point in time, and a little bit of time lost in the chicane. You saw him take a wider angle into turn 13, and that cost him dearly on the exit. Rayhana continues to lead. Doing a superb job there at this point in time is Jackson Rayhana.
Warwick Sharp's closing in as well from behind. Look at that. He's sneaking up.
And he's been doing that the last couple of weeks, actually, it's fair to say. He's slowly but surely improved as the series has worn on. So Warwick Sharp and this is the thing too, Rob. What you might see as the race goes on, Adam Coughlin, Tim Harris and Warwick Sharp. If Coughlin and Harris start to duel, Sharp might get invited into this contest. Now the good thing is not too many incidents to note of so early in the race. And looking at our entry board here, only Bradley Mays and Brett Selby Wood have retired from the race thus far. So 2 retirements early. That's still full steam ahead at the front of the field. Rayhana,
coming up
Harris,
on lap traffic.
Coughlin. I've just worked out what's going on here too, and I now and I can apologise to everyone tuning in around the country that's putting up with this. What I'm getting is an unfair representation of the leaderboard based on. I've got Jackson Rayhana as the leader. I've got Tim Harris second, and I've got Coughlin third. But they are actually coming up on my screen as third, fourth, and fifth. Now I can't get to the bottom of exactly why that's the case. That basically, once you find Rayhana and you go follow the order down, they're in the running order. So I believe I'm right in saying that Julian Mucking is running fifth at the moment. That's
correct. Yes, that's correct.
And then Grimer, Phillip, Catchpole, Fitness, and Visma. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Okay. So bear with us, folks. We're starting to nut out the gremlins that are going on here early on a Thursday night for you. But Rayhana is the clear leader at this point. The battle that we've been watching and we've been captivated by is Coughlin and Harris. And everywhere you look through the field, as you take some ocular aerial shots for you, there are some battles that are worth noting. And we'll try and do that as the night goes on. In fact, Rob might be able to assist with that as we keep motoring. But let's focus on this battle for the moment. The 3 of them. How good's this? Coughlin, Sharp, and in the middle is Harris. And as Rob noted, Sharp closing in and doing a nice job of it. A 40-minute race. So first time past the post after the 40 minutes elapsed will be the checkered flag. And unfortunately my clock counter not working either, so Rob will just have to update me on
26 minutes and 25 seconds to go, Zach.
It's true. If we've been running for 14, it doesn't feel like we've been running for 14 minutes, I can tell you. Feels like 28. So, no, that's good. So we've got about 26 minutes to go there for you folks. It's good to have your company. Ocular, LJ Hooker Gaindar, Central Coast Subaru, Flash Graphics, all making the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and Doadrift Esports possible. The War of Champions has already claimed a couple of victims. It'll be a key talking point when we get to the GT4 TCR race a little bit later on as well. And what we should point out too there, Rob, is penalty points are easily acquired around here. You heard everyone talking about it when we had the GT race here, when we've had stock car racing here. This circuit, because of the way it's set on iRacing, you only have to put a wheel the wrong side of the white lines, and that particularly is a point of interest when you get to that chicane, turn 13 and 14. You put 1 foot out of whack, and you cop penalty points or you cop slow down. So that'll be a talking point throughout the course of the night. So Rayhana, Harris, Coughlin, Sharp, and Mucky, the top 5 here at this point in time. As I'm slowly getting
looking like
across how the working.
It's looking like our replay donor Nico was having a few connection problems as cars pop in and out. So I apologise. We can only run off the replay data, so if there was any sort of disconnections or anything like that, lag, it will cut out for us as well on the replay.
Exactly right. Gotta love technology. Yeah, actually, although I will say this, last weekend I had a signal drama with, or it might have been the weekend before, I had some signal dramas with Foxtel during a broadcast that I was trying to record. But I was able to go back after the fact and download the full file without the interruption in between. Unfortunately, that didn't apply to the Indianapolis 500 because that was a technical error at Fox's end, not the technical error at the signal end.
But what you're saying, Zach, is that even studios like Fox have technical issues like Doadrift Esports.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to back you up here. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Dear idea. Right. There's the 77 on your screen. And he's being pursued by, I'm just going to try and grab some numbers here. Is that number 10?
Number 10, Lee Williamson.
So Lee Williamson moving up there on the inside and getting the job done on Baden McDonald. And as you can see, he was disappearing off the screen there just for a moment. But
as they flick into a different dimension.
Exactly. Oh, dear. So bear with us, folks. This is fraught with danger because it's the first time we've actually attempted this. It could well be the last as well, as they make their way down towards turn 10. So the 77, as Rob was talking about there, the 10 is Lee Williamson, and the 77 is, of course, Baden McDonald, having a good little scrap there at the moment. Our leader is Jackson Rayhana. He's already cycling through some lap traffic here.
Jackson must have a direct cable to Nico's computer. He seems to be fine.
Never had a problem with lag in his life. Although there are a few competitors in this up-and-coming series that would seriously pray for him to have some sort of tech issue at some point, because that's about the only thing capable of stopping him at this stage. He's just in a different universe.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. This would mean if he does win the series, he'd be ineligible for next season up-and-comers. Is that correct?
That is correct. And a lot of people breathing a huge sigh of relief upon hearing that at the moment, let me tell you. No, he's done a superb job, but it's not just been in the up-and-comer series, Rob. Like Jackson, as we've said, he's a regular in our broadcast. He's thrown his hat into the ring for just about everything we do within the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and certainly all the 5 races that we broadcast on Doadrift Esports as well. And, I mean, yes, he's made no secret of the fact that he loves the open wheeler and particularly the Pro Mazda, but he's taken like a duck to water with the rest of them as well. And you're seeing progression, development, improvement in him every time we go racing. So,
look at him go. He's just a rocket. It's almost like he's got another 100 horsepower over the other cars.
It's almost as though they're standing still, and he is clearing out at this point in time. So heading into turn 3, let's ride on board with Jackson and just appreciate how good this Montreal circuit is and how good he is at steering around it. Here's the end of the first sector. They're going to flick it left and right. One of the slower corners to the left, but you're hard on the throttle, accelerating right through turn 7. On the run down to 8 now, another right left, one slower than the other because you get on the brakes, you apply the brake heavy for the 8th corner, and then hard on the throttle through 9, again hard on the throttle all the way down to turn 10 here. Hardest braking point of the circuit bar 1 is turn 9. Here it is now, the hairpin.
And last time we were here, Zach, we saw a lot of manoeuvres on that corner as well, especially towards the end of the race. So
indeed, we did.
Seeing how things go in the next 14 laps or so.
And that's another important point. When you get out of turn 10, you're hard on the throttle for the longest extended period of full throttle running on the course, all the way through 11, 12, and then hard on the brakes for 13. Smash the curb, left 14, onto the main straight, another lap done. He is just in a complete world of his own here at the moment. Now, just getting some data here suggesting that we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane as well. Yep, looks like Connor Brown is in there at this point in time. So maybe the graphics are starting to work in my favour for I don't want to put the mocker on it, but for the sake of the broadcast, let's hope that is right. Now,
Adam Coughlin just charging through.
That was a nice move, actually. He's put a little bit of distance between himself and Tim Harris, and he's got by that lap traffic. Now, there's another point. In the up-and-comer series, lap traffic is always a factor. So to see these guys navigating their way through, honing their racecraft, that's great to see, but it's also going to be what probably separates Coughlin and Harris at the end of the night, their ability to manoeuvre through, be it quicker or slower, depending upon who you are.
I've got to say, even though we don't always get a chance to look further back in the pack to give some of the new drivers a bit of time to shine, I've got to say that the beginning of the races lately, there's been not much in terms of car incidents, anything like that. A little bit here and there, but even if you compare it to some of our pro level races, over the last few months that would
Yeah.
all end up in turn one in a huge pile. These guys are doing really good and much better than what you would see on just a regular iRacing online series. So.
Absolutely. Just have a look at it. I'll come back to your point in a moment, but I tell you what, that was good racecraft there from Coughlin because he saw Harris coming and he did everything he could to try and eliminate the slipstream effect. He moved from right to left and left to right, tried to make it as difficult as possible for Harris to find a way by. Mission accomplished and got the job done. So Coughlin holds on as we see Grant Gill come back out onto the circuit there at the moment. That's about the first time I've been able to put a card or a name without looking at the leaderboard all night because Grant Gill's colours are synonymous with Wednesday night broadcast and in this case Thursday night. Interesting to note as well, just going back to your point, you're absolutely right. The up-and-comers, except for that Grand Prix of Belle Isle circuit in Detroit, they've been fairly good. They've been well-behaved, and even in their opening lap tonight, yeah, it got a little bit messy in part, but it was because of driver incident, not car-to-car contact. Drivers doing it on their own, not being assisted, and that was important. Obviously, once you've got a car blocking the circuit, all bets are off as to what goes on. But with the Pro Series, it just goes to show that there's a little bit more patience in the up-and-comers because they're not yet racing for sheep stations, whereas we've seen, as you correctly alluded to, we've seen 2 races at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium ruined on the opening lap for about 5 or 10 drivers because of impatience. And it's really interesting when you look at the even the circuit Gilles Villeneuve round. We had the turn 2 incident there, where drivers just couldn't wait to get amongst the action, and we had all hell break loose. So, yeah, the pro drivers they could learn a little bit, I think, from the up and comers that it's not one on the first corner. But again, once the visor goes on, the visor goes down, the helmet goes on. Try telling them that. It might only be sim racing, but these guys, and you've got a great exponent of it in the next race coming up, Michael Hammond. They take it very seriously. 3-way fight back here further in the pack.
We're on board with Dylan the Kid Gray at the moment, as he's up against Michael Latta and Corey Horder.
So Dylan's in the 4, Latta is in the 6, and Horder, of course, in the 73, just ahead of them. So green versus red and blue versus red. And Dylan, you're getting a good look there at the slipstream. That was actually good execution from Dylan Gray. He executed that move beautifully up on the inside of Latta, and job done. Oh, he got it undone. Can you believe that?
Oh, no.
Just we said it. We talk him up, and he's outdone himself into turn 1 there, and he did that all on his own. Obviously, just a little bit excited to get the move done. Took a little bit too much speed into the corner, sent it backwards. Unfortunate for Dylan Gray, but he's got in his favour now is time. He's got time to try and redeem that. We know he's got the pace. He just needs to keep his concentration up, keep his eyes on the prize, mind on the job, the task at hand, and just settle the enthusiasm a little bit. And I know that's a difficult thing for Dylan because we talk regularly on and off air about his enthusiasm and how I don't think there's a more enthusiastic member in the club. He's always looking for a way to get involved, looking for something to get involved in. But these Pro Masters, I think he's enjoyed his open wheel experience thus far, and certainly that's the indication we've had when we've spoken to him on a Wednesday night. I know on Friday nights he's enjoyed it, trying his hand at being a understudy for Paul Nichols in race control. And don't worry, folks, Paul and Nick will be back with us tomorrow night, of course, for our regular Friday night doubleheader, which will be live. Production cars into stock cars from the Holy Grail, Mount Panorama Bathurst, and we are looking forward to that tomorrow night. So you will be able to join us from 6:30 Eastern for that.
A nice move by Aidan Rice there over Josh Lidd.
Yes. So Josh Lidd dropping a place there.
In the lovely Hello Kitty car.
Yes.
One of my favourites on the track.
There's a better look at it. Very nice.
And the Bender helmet. I love that helmet as well.
He's got it. It's a distinct colour. It stands out. It's the Jackson Rayhana colour normally, but Rayhana's running the red tonight. So Josh running the pink along the run down the straight. That
quite a close battle coming up here in this pack.
Well, this is right. Oh, one car straight across the inside of the curb there, across the grass.
They're pulling a Rob Hazeltine Doadrift
shortcut.
Shortcut. That's the one.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. So, Rayhana leads Coghlan, Harris, Sharp, Mucky, then Grimer, Catchpole, Phillip, Visma, Williamson, then McDonald, Fora, Rice, Millard, Porter and Latta, and then Gray. Just looking further down the order. And it was interesting to note Millard, of course, who we were talking about there, following Rice through and ordering behind them. So this is going to be interesting now because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them all there on your screen that you've seen go past the start-finish strike in pretty close succession. One small mistake could cost you a bunch of time and a bunch of positions and therefore a bunch of championship points right here, right now. Yeah, just going back to...
we've missed it, Zach, but it looks like Tim Harris has made the move on Adam Coghlan.
And he's been setting that up for a while. So if we can get a shot of them, we'll find out what's going on there. Coghlan and Harris. Harris and Coghlan.
Oh, Harris is taking...
Oh, have a look at this. Harris now wants to go on the inside. You've cut to it at a good time, Rob. He tucks back in. He won't be able to make the move just yet. So Coghlan and Harris going along nicely along the main straight here.
And Coghlan's taken the position back from what we last just mentioned, it looks like.
And
he's back in
second. And Harris trying to set the move up as well. He wants to find a way by. And this has been ongoing. Oh, he was a little bit wide there, Coghlan through turn 2. That's going to give Harris a sniff for turn number 3. Here they go side by side. Surely Harris gets the job done this time. No! Somehow Coghlan's found the speed required to sweep around the outside and retain second place. Brilliant piece of driving. Nice pressure from Harris, but Coghlan's answered the challenge superbly. And this is the pressure that these guys can come to expect in the pro ranks, which we've been talking about there in the last couple of minutes.
I don't know if you noticed, Zach, but it looked a bit like Tim Harris was getting a bit loose in the rear end as he came around that turn. Maybe his tyres are on the way out.
Could be just a little bit of wheel spin as a result of acceleration, or it could be
a little too much gusto and overconfidence.
Yeah, because again, tyres, I don't know if they're a huge factor here. And again, have a look at how wide Coghlan was through turn 10, 11, 12. He's going to be under serious pressure now from Harris, who goes to the outside. The ocular aerial shot shows and tells the story. Nothing in this, the fight for second. Into 13 and 14. Oh, geez, you're right about Harris. He was all over the place coming out of 14 there.
Watch him when he goes around the next corner and see how his rear end looks. He's looking just really loose as he comes around, like he's almost going into a drift sometimes.
Well, the other point as well...
Making a liar out of me now.
Yeah, it was a little bit smoother that time around, and that's the thing. It could be as simple as the way he's driving it that's forcing the rear to step out like that and respond like that. I was going to say totally different driving lines from the pair through turn 1 and 2. And that's what you see a lot of in this up-and-comer series, because they're all trying to find their own fast way around the circuit.
And meanwhile, Zach, if you look at the map, Jackson Rayhana's almost, a quarter of the track away now for the lead.
That shouldn't surprise anybody.
Sorry to the Jackson Rayhana fan club that if you're watching, we haven't cut to him as much. He has such a lead. You know, there's we got to follow some of the battles.
I don't want to be cruel or unkind to any of our drivers in the series here, but Rayhana's he's a superhuman in terms of the up-and-comers. I know they're not allowed to throw him out until the end of the series, but he's that far in front at the moment that they should. and make the race for second, the race for first. It add a little bit of spice to the series, because every week we reconvene here, and since Road America, which is where Rayhana really stepped up his dominance, we've been asking the question at the start of each broadcast: Jackson, by how much? Tonight, I'll give you an indication of what that is when we get to the checkered flag, but it'll be north of 10 seconds, guaranteed.
I think at the moment, at least he gives the other drivers something to push for. So.
Well, this is exactly right, and hopefully, in doing that, it improves the other drivers quicker. It develops quicker.
Unless they keep getting in battles like this, slowing them down and giving him a much bigger lead.
Well, actually, no, I'll disagree, and the only reason I'll disagree with you is because battles like this, even though it does slow you down and does hamper your progress in terms of trying to catch the man ahead, it certainly helps develop your racecraft.
Absolutely.
Just you're sitting there, particularly Harris, who's in third at the moment, following Coughlin. He's sitting there just eyes on the prize, trying to find a way to outsmart Coughlin. And that will make him a better racer going forward as well. And compliments to him, because he hasn't done anything silly yet. We've seen, and this again comes back to the pros, we've seen drivers pull off or attempt sillier moves and bring it all undone. Whereas in these up-and-comers races, there's a little bit of respect at the moment being shown, particularly here in this battle for second and third. There are a couple of occasions where if you were Harris, you were a little bit more ambitious, you'd lick the stamp and send it, as Daniel Ricciardo would say, but he hasn't done it. He's just sitting there, maybe waiting for Coughlin to make a mistake, maybe waiting to get a little bit closer to the rear end. We'll wait and see. Across the line we go. We're past half race distance, of course. Jackson Rayhana doing his thing out in front. Dominating proceedings here.
Absolutely.
And we are still keeping a close eye on this battle for second and third. Reminding you, of course, that Warwick Sharp's not too far away down the road there in fourth, and Julia Mucky in behind them in fifth spot.
As I look through the leaderboard, Zach, there's just battles all through the pack.
Which isn't really surprising. We've come to expect that in the up-and-comers. It's just, where do you look? I mean, it's so hard to know where to look and follow all these
Second
battles.
You cut away, that's when the manoeuvres are done. It's like they know that we're watching.
Exactly right. Or they make a mistake, or they come into the pits, or something happens. And as we saw the other night in the GT race, there was a crash.
Here we go again.
Now, this is important, because this is the ongoing fight. You can see Coughlin hugging the inside, saying to Tim Harris, look, mate, I'm happy for you to overtake me, but you got to do it the long way round. And that allows Coughlin to hold track position for the moment, hold station as they head down towards turn 13. Through 12, full throttle, fast acceleration down here. Look at Harris setting up the manoeuvre, trying to get as close as he possibly can down the inside. Have a crack, son. No. See, and that's the thing. He could have easily gone a little bit deeper under brakes there and had the crack then on Coughlin, but maybe just not game enough.
Do you risk it?
Well, that's exactly right.
Third position is this isn't Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. Third position is good. And how many times have we seen drivers at the front of the pack risk it and then end up, either completely crashing out for the race or ending up down in 20th? Smart strategy would dictate, take it easy, especially in the up and comers. A lot of the drivers are learning and they're really trying to make the most of it. So I hope we do see some more attempts. And I hope we do see something from a spectator's point of view, but I can understand why he would want to play it safe in third.
Well, that's exactly right. There's no point throwing it away just yet. It's not the absolute end of the race where the checkered flag is nearing and looming.
No,
so it's got a little bit of time and patience.
Roughly 4 laps to go, Zach, with about 4.5 minutes.
Okay. So Jackson Rayhana doing a nice job there at this point in time. He's well out in front, as you can see. Coughlin and Harris fighting over second spot. What has been an awesome fight.
Looks like Dylan's back in another battle as well.
Yeah, Coughlin was just starting to pull away there too from Tim Harris, you might have noticed. So maybe, can Tim stay with him, or is that it? We'll wait and see. We're a few laps away from the checkered flag. There's Dylan Gray in a fight for position at the moment.
He's managed to get past Aiden Rice, who he was battling with earlier. Getting a bit sideways there through that corner.
Just a little bit. Now, let's stay with this as well because Dylan Gray's doing a nice job. Can Rice go with him or fight back, bounce back? We'll wait and see. Have a look at this. Beautiful run out of turn 9 for Rice. He puts it up on the outside. Gray under pressure. Rice sends it around the outside. That won't work. Nice bit of driving. Dylan Gray answering the challenge under pressure, but doing a nice job of keeping it on the black stuff. These guys are 12th and 13th at the moment. Does Rice want to have a crack? Not yet. Not yet. Through 13 and 14 onto the main straight one more time. Clean across the curb on the Wall of Champions. Across the start-finish line. So Rayhana from Coghlan, from Harris. Sharp, Mucky, Grimer, Phillip, Visma, Millard, Williamson. This is the battle for 11th and 12th. Gray, Rice, then Catchpole and behind them. All those drivers still on the lead lap here. We've got, as I said, a field of... What do we have? A field of 34 take the start. Just 13 remain on the lead lap. Closing stages in Canada. Fastest lap of the race at 1:35.289 for Jackson Rayhana. Superb performance. Oh dear, I dig. Dylan Gray, loose, taily through 8 and 9. There goes Rice down the inside. Will he get across and chop Gray off, or will Gray have a crack through 10 to respond? Yes, he does. Here comes Dylan Gray down the inside, hugging the curb through there, but Rice isn't done with yet. Gray under pressure, under the pump. You take the aerial shot down the Casino straight. What can Rice do here? Can Gray compose himself under pressure? Across the curb, 13-14. He's okay for the moment.
We've got about a minute 15 with 2 to go.
So a minute 15. That'll suggest that Rayhana will get back to the line and he'll have one more. There he is now. So yeah, nicely played out. 1 lap to go for Jackson Rayhana. I have to say that 40 minutes has gone very, very quickly, folks. It doesn't feel like 40. As soon as we wrap this race up, we will take ourselves a quick break while we change feeds here and we upload the GT4 TCR race and get back going for you. Before we wrap up this broadcast, or this portion of the broadcast, I'll run you through the results and also the championship standings as they stand at the end of 8 rounds, with of course 2 rounds to come. Pilot Series, the Hump Day Pilot Series, and also the up-and-comers return next Wednesday night. Doadrift Esports, the usual time. Just a one-off Thursday night broadcast for you this week. And I believe it's a member vote, the venue for next week, so I don't have that information on me at this point in time. I'll double-check before we get off air, though. Here comes Jackson Rayhana into the hairpin for the last time, turn 10. What a performance this has been. Down the Casino straight for the last time. Take your hands out and smash them together, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is just in a league of his own. And this, I believe, is going to be win number 5 on the trot. Road America, the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. He then cleaned up in Detroit after an early race spin. He then cleaned up last week in Virginia. Now he gets the job done in Canada as well. Jackson Rayhana wins the Hump Day up-and-comers race Wednesday night in Montreal, Canada, as part of our special Thursday night motorsport broadcast on Doadrift Esports. What a performance from Adam Coghlan in the closing stages to pull away from Tim Harris. He'll go second. Harris will go third ahead of Warwick Sharp, who was putting the pressure on him in the end. Fifth place, actually, my apologies. Warwick was a fair bit back in fourth, but that was light traffic putting the pressure on Tim Harris, unfortunately. Fifth will go to Julian Muckey. Then we'll go back to Stephen Grimer, Ash Phillip, Anthony Visma, Lee Williamson. And we've got to wait a fair while for them to come round, and also Josh Millard. But have a look at this. It's not over yet. Dylan Gray still trying to get across the line. So too James Catchpole and Aidan Rice. We're waiting for them to come round. I believe Gray's run into some trouble on this last lap here. Aidan Rice is no longer under pressure in that battle for 11th. Across the line there goes Anthony Visma, the 27. Lee Williamson in the 10. Josh Millard in the 33. Not much between them in the end. Dylan Gray goes across the line. And I'm just not sure at this point because it's showing him 10 seconds behind Aidan Rice there. So unless... But they went across side by side. So maybe Dylan Gray's acquired a 10-second post-race. I'm not 100% sure. Results according to as we've got them on our screen here on the iRacing server. Rayhana doing donuts and lighting it up at the moment in celebration in victory lane. 16.9 seconds clear of Tim Harris. Warwick Sharp in third. Sorry, 16.9 seconds clear of Adam Coughlin with Tim Harris in third. And then Warwick Sharp, Julian Muckey, Stephen Grimer, Ash Phillip, Anthony Visma, Lee Williamson, Josh Millard, Aidan Rice, James Catchpole and Dylan Gray. There's Rayhana celebrating in style. Fabian was in 14th, then Corey Horder, then Brad Stroyescu, Josh Forer, Scott Baker, Curtis Williams and Michael Ladder made up the top 20 outside there. And apologies, we didn't give all these guys a run tonight, but it was a bit hard with the replay factor, and also B, just trying to stay abreast of everything that was happening up front, because that battle, as I say, between Coughlin and Harris was fantastic. Outside all of that, Connor Brown in 21st position, Adam St. John in 22nd, Matt Robinson 23rd, then Chris McHale, Amy Rose. Actually, that'll be, I'm not sure if that'll be Amy Rose or a partner name that hasn't been changed for a round by Paul Nichols, so apologies for that. Baden McDonald, Chris Kisby, Philip Howe and Grant Gill took us back to 29th with Nathan Cullen making up the top 30. And we're into the retirements now. In fact, everyone from Chris Kisby down, actually make that everyone from Chris McHale down. McHale 7 laps down. And then the 386, then Baden McDonald, Chris Kisby, Philip Howe, Grant Gill, Nathan Cullen, Marty Hughes, Laser Dave Farrelly, Brett Selbywood and Bradley Mays were all non-classified in the end. Of course, the 34-car field as it stands here. As far as the championship standings are concerned, at the end of that round, and again, massive thanks to our friends in Adam Lavis for sending that through, although I do apologise because just as I went to read through it, it disappeared off my screen, but I'm getting it back now. Jackson Rayhana, a clear leader here on 349 points from Tim Harris, 288.5. Warwick Sharp on 244.5, and Michael Ladder on 205.5. 204 for Jonathan Turner, 201 for Julian Muckey, then Brett Selby-Wood on 192, Tony DeRossi on 184.5, Curtis Williams on 183, Ash Phillip and Chris McHale making up the top 10. They're both on 172 points apiece. Okay, that's leg one of the doubleheader done. We'll take a couple of minutes break here right now to exit this server and load up the TCR GT4 race from the same venue. It's Wednesday Night Motorsport on a Thursday for a change on Doadrift Esports. Stick around, we've got more in just a moment from the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve.
Alright, and we are back ready to start the GT4 TCR Hump Day Series, round 8.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the venue, as per usual. We double up on a Wednesday night with the two series competing at the same venue. And the information that I can give you for this one, folks, I'll run you through the championship standings when we get into the rhythm of things here. But, of course, the track temp set to 22 degrees, the air temp 16 degrees, 4.36 kilometre circuit, a 40-minute race, 9 a.m.
And I would
race
just like to
time here
mention,
in Montreal. Yes, Rob?
You will see that it says checkered flag again, as it did in the last race. I believe this is some sort of iracing bug, but once they finish their first lap, it looks like it switches over. So we should be good to go. Are you ready for us to kick off, Zach?
Well, I can be. My server's just not letting me view the start of the race on my end yet. But if you want to hit the gas and get going, let's do this, because we've got Michael Hammond and Benny Snell there sharing the front row. I'll run you through, as I say, the championship standings from last week in just a moment, but I'll bring up the qualifying results for this one first on my screen here. There's the trackside shot showing and telling you the story. Michael Hammond, Ben Snell, the front row, Luke Turner and Grant Gill, the second row, Jackson Rayhana and David Riddell, the third row, Jared Daly and Brett Selby Wood, the fourth row, Angus Cook and Chris Polly, the fifth row. Nick starting from 11th with Josh Maynard alongside him, then Josh Thomas and Paul Nichols on the 7th row, the 8th row, Warwick Sharp and Adam Coughlin, the 9th row, Adam St. John and Julian Muckey, the 10th row, Parry Anastakis, and then you've got a list of cars that, as we get the show on the road, a list of cars including Matthew O'Grady, Fabian, Curtis Williams and Anthony Visma that did not clock a lap in qualifying there. To the first corner we go. Jackson Rayhana, a nice start. So to there, the 76, of course. Oh, trouble at one. Trouble at one, that's the 269. Going around, that's, of course, Angus Cook, I believe. Not a good start there. Of course, what we should point out on a Wednesday night, when you've got the GT4 and the TCR, they separate the two at the start. So the GT4 start at the front, the TCR's at the back. That's a poor start for the man that's won the last two outings in the TCR ranks in Angus Cook. On board with Jackson Rayhana now. Through here. To the hairpin for the first time. Now, Michael Hammond and Ben Snell have cleared out to an early lead. You see them there. Rayhana's made a good start, got up into position number 4, I believe it is. Again, apologies from my end, folks. We did try to sync up Rob's and mine feed here, but unfortunately it just didn't want to play ball with us. I'm slowly but surely working on getting things back to where they need to be for the rest of the broadcast, but I am a little bit behind with regards to what you're seeing on your screen there. I think we're okay now, though. Okay. Jackson Rayhana making his way through. Second time, Ben Snell and Michael Hammond lead this race. There is Michael Hammond chasing him through. And just like that, I am back in sync with you, Rob. For some reason, I've managed to be able to hit all the right buttons, and we are back in sync, so we're good to go all the way through to the end. Oh dear, it's all gone to hell very quickly here in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Thursday Night Motorsport on Doadrift Esports. But it's the same protagonists as we've seen in the last few weeks. Ben Snell and Michael Hammond, Luke Turner, Jackson Rayhana. So a good start there. Jackson jumping up 2 spots to get onto the back of Luke Turner. For the last couple of weeks, we've seen Turner go with Snell, go with Hammond, and that hasn't been the case. Snell was slowing. Snell slowing there on the exit of turn 9. He must have got a slow down penalty out of there. That's compromised his run. It's allowed Michael Hammond to extend to take the lead and extend it and pull away immediately. And it's put Snell under immediate pressure from Luke Turner. And this is the one thing that we're talking about in the up-and-comers race. Slow down penalties drain you. They kill you here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Down the Casino Straight. Lap 2. Lap times in the 1 minute 45s, 1 minute 44s here. We've got the 2 classes again to keep abreast of tonight with the GT4 and also the TCR. Now I'm just, Rob, just for my benefit, just so that I'm across what you've got on your screen there. Car off at 1, that was Luke Turner. Luke Turner in the grass at 1. He gets back on the black stuff, but Grant Gill's come through and taken the position away. David Riddell's gone through. I'm not sure what happened to Jackson Rayhana there, but we lost him a moment ago as well. I didn't see the incident for Rayhana. I'm looking at my stats screen here to try and make sure that everything's zipped up, but unfortunately, Rayhana's dropped down the order, and Grant Gill's the big winner in all of that. He's jumped up into 3rd position. David Riddell, Brett Selby would have come through. Nick's up into position number 6. Turner and Rayhana back in 7th and 8th respectively. Was there contact between those 2 cars?
You can see a little bit of scrapes down the side of Turner's car there from that position.
Yeah. So that would suggest that potentially there was a little bit of contact between the pair. Wow. What a start. So
can't see any damage on Jackson Rayhana's car, so it's likely he's had to manoeuvre out of the way.
Well, this is right. Not only have we had Ben Snell run into trouble and just basically concede the lead to Michael Hammond, we've also had Rayhana and Turner run into trouble. We've had Nick and Brett Selby Wood, David Riddell and Grant Gill all act as beneficiaries in all of that. And we're riding on board with Nick now. Lap 3 of the race.
I really need to just screenshot a video of him, talking or whatever, so I can put it down for the delayed cast, just to get that feeling back.
Well, this is right, exactly. It doesn't have the same effect, does it, when we don't have Paul and Nick to interact with. Just John Nico, by the way, he's sitting down as a non-starter, I do believe, in all of this. Oh, that's right. I remember. We got word through not long after the race started last night that Nico qualified, but then his computer crashed right as the race was about to start. So technology plaguing Nico for the 2nd week in succession here. You're right on board with Nick. That's Brett Selby Wood and David Riddell ahead of him. Then, of course, Grant Gill further up the road. Snell has cleared out. He's about a 2.5 seconds clear of Gill. But the margin between 1st and 2nd, Hammond and Snell, 3.5 already. So already a huge lead opening up here for Michael Hammond. Ben Snell sits second at this point in time. Now, I'm going to trust that nothing will happen on my screen here while I bring up the championship points and run you through those, because Michael Hammond is on top at this point in time with 324, playing Nick on 292 and Ben Snell on... Actually, no, my apologies. I've read the results as they stand at the end of this race. Just ignore that I said that, folks. I want to give you the updated points as they were coming into this race. I've got two different screens for that. My apologies. It's Hammond on 269, playing Nick on 253 and Ben on 239, with Jackson Rayhana on 226, and then Glenn Postlethwaite on 187. So Glenn Postlethwaite still in the race, despite the fact that he has not started the last 2 weeks. So that's the pros and cons of working with Google Drive documents, folks. When they update, you can't go back and undo the update. So what we can tell you is that Michael Hammond is the championship leader. He's also the leader of this race. The lead is 1.5 seconds to Ben Snell. Ben has actually taken a little bit of time out of Hammer this time around, but they're nowhere near as close as they were a couple of laps ago. And it's going to be hard work for Benny Snell to claw that back. He may have to rely on the pit stop window. He may have to rely on the on Hammer making a mistake or running into trouble somewhere. And we know, Rob, we know all too well that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. There's just this tight battle going on back here for the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th.
It's incredible, isn't it? It really is at this point in time. Now, Grant Gill's in just ahead of those guys. Jackson Rayhana's in there. Brett Selby-Wood's in there. Luke Turner's in there. Nick's in there. They're all having a good ding-dong. Jackson's got a little bit of breathing space on the Porsches at the moment, and that BMW of Turner is slotted in behind there, behind Nick now. So Nick's made a move, nicely done, on Turner. And Chris Polly's in behind them as well. You can see him there at the top of the screen. So Hammer Time has the lead. Ben Snell, David Riddell, Grant Gill, Jackson Rayhana, then Nick. Reminding you that Hammer has the championship lead. He had pole position ahead of Snell, Turner and Gill. So the running order somewhat similar, particularly at the front end, to what it was in qualifying.
Oh, Brett Selby-Wood into the wall there on his own accord.
No. Yeah, apologies. My feed's just coming through a little bit stop-starty, a little bit jumpy at the moment, so I'm not picking up everything as it happens. So Brett Selby-Wood in trouble. That takes one out of the equation. He'll drop down the order. He'll be under pressure. He might even lose his spot to Chris Polly if he can't get back going.
It looks like that's helped to open up this pack that was battling before.
I don't know how to feel about that. I kind of like the close proximity of the pack, but they do need a little bit of clear air if they're any hope of catching Michael Hammond and Ben Snell at the front of the field.
Selby-Wood is charging back ahead though, so he may catch up pretty quickly.
He's actually driven these TCR GT4 routings fairly well the last few weeks, as Brett Selby-Wood. So Hammer Time, Snell, Riddell, Gill, Rayhana, then Nick. That's the top 6 for you at this point in time. You're watching Luke Turner come around onto the main straight. This is the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, round 7 of the GT4 TCR Hump Day Pilot Series for Oculair, for LJ Hooker Gaindar, for Flash Graphics and for Central Coast Subaru. Special edition of Thursday Night Motorsport on Doadrift Esports for you. And again, we stress that Michael Hammond is the race leader. We're watching Nick chasing Jackson. These two have been, I must admit, the last couple of weeks has been really impressive to see how closely fought these two have been. Such camaraderie between Nick and Jackson. Clean racing, clean driving, nothing wrong there. But on the track, not much has separated them. We know that BMW has somewhat of a little edge over the Porsche, but Nick's held his own in this car the last few weeks. Down to turn 8 and 9. Track cam, curb cam shows and tells the story. Would be about 10 minutes into this race now, yeah, Rob? Michael Hammond, Ben Snell leading the way. David Riddell third, then Grant Gill. Just something that I wanted to clarify with you too, Rob, earlier in the proceedings, and we didn't get to because of all the action happening around us. On your screen, the screen that's going out over the broadcast, the two classes are separated by differentiated by colour. Can you just confirm what the colours are for me?
Yeah, sure can. So we've got GT4 is a yellow and TCR is a blue.
That's clever because my graphics are showing exactly the same thing and I'm running a completely different graphics set, so I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that, actually. So it's BMW 1 and 2, Porsche 3 and 4, BMW 5, Porsche 6, BMW 7, Porsche 8, BMW 9 and Porsche 10. Yes, Rob?
Speaking of TCR, let's check in with them. We haven't given them a good shot yet, so we'll see how
that's a good idea. Warwick Sharp leading the way here. Yeah. From Angus Cook, who was involved in that Turn 2 incident. He turned around, he got involved in the carnage and rubbish hit there. And at the moment, you can see the margin. It's about 5 seconds in favour of Sharp to Cook. Visma third, Davison fourth, then Williams and Anastakis.
Now,
so
Zach, if you're looking at the map, you'll notice that TCR is really spread out. So they are... big gaps between them. There's not much battling going on, but they seem to have a really big spread across the back end of this track at the moment.
That somewhat isn't surprising to me. I mean, the first couple of weeks we had Glenn Postlethwaite, we had Daniel Ackland, we had a few others setting the tone, setting the rhythm, the benchmark, and then the last few weeks we've had Angus Cook step up to the plate and win in Postlethwaite's absence. We haven't seen Glenn on a Wednesday night. Have a look at the race leaders if you can.
Well, just check out this sparks flying off it. I don't think I've seen that before. Can you see that?
Now I can't, but if you can, I'll take your word for it. I haven't got the glasses on this morning. That is quite incredible. Actually, no, I can see it now, yeah.
Quite incredible. If the car is blowing up or if that's a bug, and that's the scrapes that would normally be on the wall.
To be fair, that front does look fairly crunched up, doesn't it? The 61 here.
I don't know what more to say about that. That car does not look healthy. And look at even when it's slowing down into the corners, it is all over the place.
It looks like it's copped a car version of COVID. Have a look at that.
But still seems to be doing okay. So it still seems to be sort of keeping up with the other cars.
He's going along fine. He's going along absolutely fine. That's the 161 of Davison you're watching there, folks. Fantastic. Oh dear!
I think that's a bit of a bug in iracing, the sparks. I don't think that's the engine blowing up, but I could be wrong. We will check in and see if the engine lasts a few more laps.
Fast repair coming his way in the pit stop, I would dare say. That's if there is a pit stop tonight. Let's get back to the leaders, Rob, because it's hotting up now. There they are. Annie Snell, Michael Hammer Time Hammond.
This is what we've been
One
waiting for.
1 and 2. Oh, absolutely. And Snell's right there. He was 2.5 seconds behind 3 laps ago. He's clawed his way back, and now he's right there with Michael Hammond. Now, do they work together and build a lead over the chasing pack? Grant Gill, David Riddell, etc. Grant Gill's running into trouble. He's just been passed by David Riddell, Jackson Rayhana, and Nico Pop. So Grant Gill's in some trouble here early on as they make their way down the Casino Straight. Now, do these two jostle for position? Does Snell mount an attack, launch a challenge? Or do they wait patiently and just build the lead and then go for it in the last 10-15 minutes of this race? Almost half race distance. Michael Hammond doing a nice job. Ben Snell, David Liddell, Jackson Rayhana, and then Nico Pop making up the top 5. Grant Gill slipped back to 6th. He's ahead of Luke Turner. Off week for Luke Turner. Normally he'd be right here where we are at the moment, but not this week. Just clarifying, Rob, my lap screen says lap 10. Is that what you've got?
Yes, Zach, lap 10. We've got about 13 to go.
Okay, so lap 10 of what we suspect will be a 23-lap race. Or a 22-lap race, depending upon the time certainty factor here. Michael Hammond, Ben Snell, David Riddell, Jackson Rayhana. Now, interesting to note, the Rayhana-Riddell battle is going to be on again very shortly, so too the Nick and Grant Gill battle. But Grant Gill's lost a lot of time there with an off-track in the last couple of laps. Can't take your eyes off this, though. The Wednesday night show on a Thursday night, it is Hammond and Snell, and they have been jostling for it every single week. Only last week was the exception because, as Ben Snell put it, I really hate that track, talking about Virginia International. So he'll be relieved to be at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and back on Michael Hammond's tail where he belongs. Sometimes he manages to get ahead of Michael Hammond, but Hammond's been the standard, the benchmark that others have had to follow over the last few weeks. Snell pulled out, had a look down the inside, couldn't get the job done. There's a car, almost world champions. The field comes back onto the main straight. Light traffic about to play its part here. Michael Hammond will be on the blower, telling these guys to get out of the way as they cross the line. So lap 11 begins now. You might notice too, we had some tech issues in the last broadcast in the up-and-comers race with our graphics and being able to relay results to you. No such problem this time round. All the graphics, and again, because of the fact that we are on delay, replays sometimes the graphics and the stats just don't want to work and line up and sync. But this time round for the TCR GT4 race, we've had no trouble at all. But that was trouble. That was trouble. Couple of TCR back markers getting involved in some rubbish there. Michael Hammond avoided it. Ben Snell's got a little bit of damage to show for it, and a lot of time lost to Michael Hammond. For the second time tonight, something totally out of Ben Snell's control benefits Michael Hammond. And that could just be the difference at the end of the race tonight. Little bits of small fortune like that for Michael Hammond, and then Snell loses 3 seconds. Now, I didn't get a good enough look at the cars involved. I think Adam Coughlin might have been one in that incident. Interesting to note also, further down the order, Angus Cook has lost ground to Parry Anastakis and Williams now as well. Visma's moved up into second spot in TCR. So Visma, Anastakis, Williams now, the running order in TCR. Now, Ben Snell and Michael Hammond are in the lane. There you go. So Benny will be using his fast repaired. Look at the BMW at the front of that. She's shot. Michael Hammond will be pulling up as well to stop and go. And this could be the difference between Snell winning the race and Hammond winning the race. But I think Snell's got a long way to try and claw back now, given that second and a half or 3 seconds, I should say, that he lost. There's the difference. Bang, gone. Hammond out 2.5 seconds quicker than Snell. The battle resumes, but Snell is pushing it uphill from here. Clearly, Snell's got the fastest lap of the race so far by a considerable margin. He's 0.7 of a second faster than Michael Hammond. 144.2 playing 144.9. But again, slowdown's going to be the factor. Traffic's going to be the factor. Navigation, all that sort of stuff. There are so many different elements to talk about when you look at this battle. And look who's leading, I might add, at the moment, just until he comes in for his stop. Our mate Nick. Our mate Nick is leading this race. He's got David Riddell on his tail, Grant Gill a little bit further back. So Jackson Rayhana's come in to stop. Julian Mucky as well behind them, but yet to stop. So the corrected order will be Hammond, Snell and Rayhana, but at the moment Nick leads the way from Riddell, Gill and Turner, with Hammond in 5th place. Now, when do they pick? Nick usually likes to adopt the strategy of going as far into the stint as he can. He'll run that tank bone dry, and then he'll look to pit. That's usually the way he plays it, across the line. David Riddell in behind him. oh boy, I'm just watching Ben Snell come round onto the main straight there, Rob, and he's clipped the wall on the exit of the World Champions, and I think that's going to cost him a little bit more time in his quest or his pursuit of Michael Hammond. And I want to focus on that too, because too often you've heard drivers across our stock car, production car, and also our GT races talk about this circuit and say, mate, I've copped a slowdown and that's what's cost me. It's so easy to cop a slowdown for shortcutting the circuit or whatever the case may be. It's an iracing issued penalty, not a club one. And track limits is the rationale for that with the curbs. Curb hopping is okay if you can get away with it, but if you don't, you cop a slowdown, and that's what Benny Snell, of course, copped in the early stages, which saw Michael Hammond pull away, and then he's obviously put the wall there trying a little bit too hard maybe to catch Michael Hammond on the clawback in this second half of the motor race. As they come down into turn 10 one more time, Snell looking to make light work of the TCR car there, the Castrol car of Coghlan, and does so. In behind him is Davison, so I'm going to hazard a guess that Davison was the one caught up in that earlier incident with Ben Snell. Lap traffic playing its part early here, as I said. And there are still a few drivers yet to pit. Nick, David Riddell, Luke Turner, Grant Gill, Julie Mucky, Warwick Sharp, Anthony Bisma, then Adam Coghlan, all yet to stop. No Jared Daly in this race, no Grady, no Nico. Of course, Paul Nichols, poor bloke, had the computer crash on him before we got underway tonight. He got out for qualifying, but yeah, it all went to you know what after that. So Nick leads from David Riddell. We're watching Ben Snell fight his way back through here. We've now got our eyes on Jackson Rayhana. And Rayhana also trying to make light work of the lap traffic here in front of him. I don't know how he does it, actually, truthfully. He just does a superb job, Rayhana, of jumping from car to car within about 5 minutes and then going racing. And it's like a switch. And for me, and it's a personal example, I'm going for some driving lessons later this week, thanks to ProDrive here at Ipswich. And I don't know if they're going to let me drive my car, which means I'm going to have to get completely comfortable with the new car. Now, obviously, road driving is very different to sim driving, and sim driving is very different to real-world stuff. But still, being able to adapt and have that versatility that Jackson Rayhana has is the envy of so many people who just don't adapt as quickly as he does. And he makes it look seamless, the transition. It's just fantastic to watch. Looking forward to having him back in the chat room post-race tomorrow night for production cars and also stock cars as well. He's starting to enjoy the stock car experience. And Bathurst is the venue tomorrow night, Mount Panorama. So Nick's the leader, David Riddell second, then Turner, then Gill, lap 15. So we're not far off the end of this race. We're probably 8 or 9 laps away, and what we should point out too, we're in the in that window for Nick and David and Turner and Gill to come in and stop, unless they're trying to pull off the unthinkable and go all the way without a stop. Given that Michael Hammond's had to stop, given that Ben Snell's had to stop, I dare say these guys will be pitting in the next lap also. Here they come on the run down to turn 10 one more time. Out of turn 10. So, just to give you a little bit of appreciation for the Pro Mazdas, they are about, based on Jackson Rayhana's times, about 9 seconds faster a lap around here compared to Ben Snell. Which is a fair nod of approval to the open wheeler. Here they come into the pit line. We're all waiting for this. Nick's in, David Riddell's in, and I dare say Luke Turner will follow. Now, this is interesting. I've got my eyes on one side of the television on Benny Snell, and I got the other side on Michael Hammond now, who's on your screen at home. So it's about 3.5 seconds between Hammer and Snell. Luke Turner has continued on, it's important to note. As Snell finally gets by the lap traffic there of Josh Thomas in the 386. Have a look at this log jam coming back out on the circuit, and David Riddell has got the better of Nico in the pit lane, and he's leapfrogged everybody. Look at that. Nick's having all sorts of trouble getting back onto the racetrack there, getting down on the inside of the lap. TCR car, and around goes Rayhana. He gets clipped by the TCR car in front of him.
He'd be spewing.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely. Front Gills did go to avoid that. And Rayhana is out of contention tonight. Well, can you believe that?
Oh, that came out of nowhere. Like you said, when they were going into it, it was all sorts of trouble heading into that corner. Too many cars trying to squeeze into one place, I think.
Well, look, this is the thing. I have no problem with, if that was the GT4 cars getting involved in an incident, hard, fair racing, no worries. Stewards deal with that later. But that was a lap TCR car that got in and ruined all of that. That was just garbage. And I don't like to be judgmental when it comes to racing, but if you've got blue flags waving for you, just get out of the road. He's ruined Rayhana's race.
I was about to say, remember, this is the up-and-comers, but this isn't the up-and-comers. This is the...
no, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah,
so I think
and
Stewards may be having a few words after the race for that one.
Yep, and I could say another word that goes along with hump to describe what happened to Rayhana's race there, but you can fill in the gaps yourself at home, ladies and gentlemen.
Was it bump?
No, I was going for a totally different word. Although he got bumped off the circuit, I was going for...
bumped out of the leader list.
Put it this way. We were talking a couple of weeks ago about Rooch beer, were we not, on this broadcast?
And Dr. Pepper as well.
And Dr. Pepper.
Which I'm drinking right now.
Anymore now, as you would be. And here I am just settling for some orange mix-up because that's the best thing I can do on a Thursday morning. It's too early for Canadian Club. Right, so it's Michael Hammond, it's Ben Snell, it's David Riddell, it's Nico Pop, it's Grant Gill, it's Luke Turner, it's Jackson Rayhana, then it's Chris Polly. Angus Cook has now got back to the lead. It's important to note in this TCR campaign.
We have
Julian
8.5 minutes to go, Zach, with about roughly 6 laps. So 8.5 with 6 laps.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, sir. So Ben Snell on the run home here, trying to claw back that margin to Michael Hammond. But it's unassailable, I think, at this point in time. There goes Hammond. There goes Snell. Gaps come down to about 5.2 seconds. But trying to take a second a lap out of Michael Hammond around here. Good luck. I mean, 7 tenths, 8 tenths of a second, sure, but you've got to be clawing out more than that and give yourself enough time to get by him as well. And I just don't think Ben Snell's going to be able to do that. I think there'll be 2 key points that you look back on in this race for Ben Snell. One will be that lap 2 slowdown. One will be that incident that he got caught up in that wasn't in his own doing. He just had nowhere to go with the TCR car spinning around in front of him. But at least he's not in the shoes of Jackson Rayhana, spewing about being taken out by back markers. It's probably a good thing we don't have a post-race show tonight, if I'm honest with you. There'd be a fair bit of, a fair few disgruntled drivers, I think.
Yes, but we're finally getting a bit of a TCR battle going on here, finally.
At long last, we'll get to that in just a moment. I'll keep it on the screen there, blah, 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 blah. talk some garbage about that in a moment, but gibberish or whatever the adjective is there. But Nick will probably also be spewing because he's run out of the pit lane, rejoining the circuit, got compromised by that same rubbish that led to Jackson Royhana's incident. So I'll be interested to see what the fallout is, because Nick's now 2 seconds behind David Riddell in the fight for third place. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's the TCR battle on your screen though. The three Audis going at it with Grant Gill behind them. Grant Gill's coming up to put a lap on these cars, it's important to note. And what you've got here on your screen, it's the battle for 14th, 15th and 16th. It's Williams, Visma and Davison. That's it. I mean, that's literally the battle we're looking at in TCR at the moment, folks. So to give you an indication, Williams, Visma, Davison, they are 5th, 6th and 7th in the TCR field at this point in time. Grant Gill makes light work of the first two of them. I believe we're on board with Davison, are we not, Rob? The 161?
That's correct, yes. No more sparks flying out. Looks like the motor's been replaced, so looking all good.
The fast pair did its job. Yep, exactly. I love it. Now, I'm just having a look at the comparisons and the gaps between Ben Snell and Michael Hammond. It's come down to 4 seconds, but again, it's going to be a long, tough ask for Ben Snell over the next 3 laps. He knows he has the faster car. He's just not had the luck tonight. Let's stay with this. Davison, Visma and Williams round the outside. He made light work of that, didn't he? My goodness, Davison on Williams. Nice move. Oh, trouble into the wall. He got just maybe a little bit too happy with himself there. The 161 is in the wall.
Your delay was about a second, and you were like, great move as the car's spinning down the straight. And I'm like, yeah, great, excellent move.
Yeah. And that just again comes back to the internet connection. Again, yeah. I've not had a great run of luck with the picture in this one. It's just been a little bit hit and miss, but that's okay.
I thought that he was carrying some big speed through that corner, just couldn't keep it, couldn't hold on to it. Unfortunately, it was a nice move until that point, but it all turned a bit pear-shaped.
This is the thing. I saw him going around the outside, and I thought that was good because it set him up nicely for the inside for the next corner for turn 7, for turn 6, which is fine because we so often see that. But
now, I do have to apologise.
Next minute, I just saw him bang into the wall, and away he went. Yes, mate.
If the name is showing up as Chloe Davidson, now I'm not sure if that is because it hasn't been changed from the other night. So if it is Chloe driving, I apologise if we've got that wrong.
No, that's okay. I would dare say for the same reason the 085 you might be noticing is showing as Amanda on your screen for some reason. Clarified in the last week that is Chris Polly, so
yes,
there's nothing we can do about that.
I just want to make sure that if Chloe is driving and is out there, that Chloe gets the recognition, you know. So I apologise if we're wrong.
Again, it's just a case of Paul Nichols stitching us up. I think we'll confirm it next week, though, for you folks. No doubt about that.
We'll chase him down later.
We will. Hammond, Snell, Riddell, Nick. They're the top 4. Nick is closing on Riddell, actually, so if we can pick up that battle, Rob, they're 16 seconds behind these guys.
Also got Snell catching up as well.
Yeah, look at how close Benny's got to Michael, but I think he's going to run out of time here. That's the problem. Time is against him. We'll see how this ends, but Nick's closing on David Riddell. Look at this now. Have a look at this. Nick's in the slipstream. He's going to have a real chance here to go down the inside. This is for third in the motor race. Look at this. Nick's down the inside into turn 13. Job done. He's oh no, he's just ruined it. He's just got to slow down on the exit of turn 14. And that hands the position back to Riddell. He just looked a little bit too hot in the corner. He locked it up on entrance. Had no choice but to hug the inside of the ripple strip there and take the penalty and take the hit as a result. A, he'll be annoyed because he did so much hard work, so much groundwork to get up into third place. And B, if he was on 0 incident points up until that point, he'll have ruined that as well. So he'll be doubly annoyed.
And he's had a hell of a night tonight. He's taken a lot of ground, and then little things just seem to hold him up. like the exit from the pits and, you know, things like that. So I'll know that Nico will be pushing hard to the end of the race, but unfortunately should have been a bit higher, I think.
For sure. So 21 laps into the race now. This is the 21st lap. Now what's happened here? Michael Hammond had Ben Snell right there, and Ben's lost a little bit of ground. I'm going to hazard a guess, because we didn't see it, I'm going to hazard a guess that Ben's copped himself another slowdown. Ben's done a Nick, or Nick's done a Ben, vice versa. It works both ways, because they both copped slowdowns this lap. And that is why the margin was 2 and is now 4.9 seconds. So Ben Snell, after doing all that hard groundwork, is going to try and do it all over again for the 3rd time tonight.
And we're coming down.
It's a case of... Yes, mate.
Last lap, Zach. I think they're just about to cross the line, and we've got 1 minute to go.
So last lap in Canada. Last lap in Canada. Thank you, sir. Nicely done. Been good to share the booth with you this evening in the absence, of course, of Nick and Paul. The downside to the fact that it is a post-produced broadcast. We've put this together on a Thursday morning. It's going to air for you on a Thursday night. But obviously Nick and Paul have work commitments, and Rob and I are slowly working our way back to having work commitments.
It is post-produced, but if you can't tell, it's all new to us. I mean, this is the first time we're seeing it, so we don't know the results. We didn't hear who won last night, so we don't know what's coming up.
No, that's it. The only thing I saw was the points, but I didn't have a look at anything in terms of the round breakdown. It was just the overall, and I haven't even. I went to run through them there earlier, not realising that I had round 7 on the phone, not on the computer, and vice versa. So, anyway, we'll go through the standings for you in just a moment. So too the full race results. We've got them ready to present to you. Have a look at Nick still putting the pressure on David Riddell. I think that's going to be the battle worth watching here in the closing stages. We do need to have a look at Michael Hammond crossing the start-finish line, and that will be happening in about 15 seconds. Look at Nick, however, setting this up in the meantime, trying to go around Riddell on the outside, going into the hairpin. Contact!
Oh, no!
There goes Riddell into the wall. There goes Nick into the gravel as well. And that could have been avoidable. Last turn, check it, flag.
Unbelievable.
Take your hands out and smash them together, ladies and gentlemen. Take them out, Michael Hammond. He gets the job done again in Canada.
Oh, they're not making it easy for me to cut.
Ben Snell there in second position. Just 1.9 separating them in the end, or something in that vicinity. Fantastic.
Nick will still come along to take 3rd, so that's despite what happened, he still manages to pull 3rd.
So Nick's going to come home in 3rd place. Riddell's going to try and hold off Grant Gill in the run for 4th. Here they come across the line. Yes, they do. So that is that's Riddell home in 4th and Gill in 5th. Then Turner. An off night for Turner. He was 6th. Jackson Rayhana's going to fight back to get 7th after that mid-race spin that would have been avoidable.
And there's been a change in the TCR. Angus Cook has taken 1st.
Well, he was leading there a few minutes ago when we last checked in there. He had found his way back to the lead. Warwick Sharp had done such a good job of leading throughout much of the race, but Angus Cook has brought it home strong. Here he comes onto the main straight now. Angus Cook's going to grab victory in the TCR ranks. 3rd week in succession for him. Nicely done. So hammer time from Snell, from Nick 1, 2 and 3. Right, gee, I really can't wait to have a chat with Nick about that tomorrow night when we're on air talking production cars and stock cars.
It's times like this we want to interviews, isn't it? But maybe it's good that they have a bit of time to calm down. We can chat to them tomorrow night.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. I reckon we would have had a little bit of language flying thick and fast there if we were talking to them live after the race. But nevertheless, let's run you through everything, folks, and wrap this baby up and get the job done. Hammer time from Snell, from Nick, from Luke Turner, then David Riddell, Grant Gill, Jackson Rayhana, then Chris Polly. They were the top 8 in GT4. In TCR, it was Angus Cook from Warwick Sharp, Perry Anastakis, then Williams, Visma, Davison, Coughlin, and Thomas 2 laps down. They are the top 8 in that class for you there as well. In total, we had Brett Selby-Wood finishing 7 laps down, but everyone appears to have got home there, I do believe. Great racing. Right, now, apologies earlier. I should have gone to the phone. I went to the computer, but I can go back to the computer now to bring you these championship standings in the up-and-comers series for GT4 for TCR, and then run you through what's coming up as far as Doadrift Esports Motorsport is concerned, because there's plenty on, no doubt about that. 4 nights a week at the moment. It's fantastic stuff. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, the up-and-comer series on the back of round 8, with venue to be confirmed for round 9 when we come back with you on Friday night. We should have that information, but we don't at this point in time. As far as the we mentioned earlier, Jackson Raihana getting the job done beautifully so in the up-and-comer series. As far as the Hump Day Pilot series is concerned, Michael Hammond winning and maintaining his championship lead, and does so by a considerable margin. He's extended it out to a 32-point lead over Nick. So 324 plays 292. Ben Snell on 281. So Nick still somewhere holding on to second, but his consistency is helping him there very much so, and the fact that Ben Snell didn't race the opening round and didn't finish last week, that's what's keeping Nick ahead of Ben at this point in time. Jackson Raihana's moved up to 4th on 260. Grant Gill 216. Luke Turner 205, so a shocker of a round for him, but I mean, he was never really in the fight, having missed the first 3 races of the series. Chris Polly 195, then Glenn Postlethwaite and Josh Menard, the best 2 in TCR on 187. They haven't raced for a couple of weeks. Well, Maynard has, but Postlethwaite hasn't. Andrew Hayes then next in 10th place, rounds out the GT4 runners inside the top 10. There are 8 of those, 178. Daniel Ackland 144, Warwick Sharp 139, Curtis Williams 112.5, David Riddell 107, Josh Thomas 105, 104 for Richard Hunter. Angus Cook, as we say, 2 wins on the trot, 3 wins on the trot, I should say. He's got up to 98 points. Pariana Sarkis 89, Paul Nichols 87. And Curtis Porter, I should say, 81, make up the top 20 there, and that's a fairly good run through as far as the classes are concerned as well. I think there are 11 TCR drivers in the top 10 there and 9 GT4s. So that's that. Bit hard to ask driver of the night and that sort of stuff, because there's not enough people in the house to do that. But well done to Nick, actually getting back there in the end, despite everything that was going on.
That was incredible, ending, wasn't it? Fiery ending to the night.
You could see what he was trying to do, and David Riddell had absolutely every right to try and defend the line, but Nick was trying to overlap him and had got past the point of no return there. And I'll ask Nick about it tomorrow night, but it looked like it was just one of those racing incidents, and probably viewed as such in the stewards' room as well. And no harm, no foul, because they got back and they finished on the circuit. Nick was probably, if he didn't get the move done at turn 10, he was going to get it done at turn 13 anyway. So it finished in the right order as far as we're concerned. And Jackson Raihana, you just got to tip your hat to him again, although that battle between Coughlin and Harris in the up-and-comers was sensational stuff as well. Rob, I've enjoyed that, so I'm sure you have as well, and looking forward again to Friday night.
Absolutely, Zach. I'll see you then. So, from everyone here at Doadrift Esports, unless you've got anything to close on?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll wrap things up. I just wanted to make sure I thank you first.
Thank you very much.
As far as the Doadrift Esports Motorsport Series is concerned, Rob's back with the Blendline team on a Tuesday night, so make sure you tune in for that. As far as the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club is concerned, tomorrow night, Friday night, back in sync, back on our usual schedule, live from Mount Panorama Bathurst, the holy grail of Australian, if not world motorsport, as far as we're concerned. 6.213 kilometres of motor racing, heaven and paradise, all rolled into one. Production cars into stock cars, the usual Friday night doubleheader. Production cars starting around 6:40, and of course the 6:50. The race should be starting there tomorrow night, and of course at around 8:05 it'll be stock car racing. The Postlethwaite Watmore show rolls on. Round 8 of the series. Monday night GTs round 9, penultimate round, and our last Gentlemen Sim Racing Club commitment for the month of August. That will be Monday, August 31, and we'll be heading to the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Italy. The venue of the San Marino Grand Prix, Imola, of course, Monday night, 45-minute race plus qualifying before that, post-race show to follow. Post-race shows return when we go live, folks. This is just a one-off pre-record, hopefully, for all and sundry, but thankfully, touch wood, it's gone somewhat smoothly, which is surprising. And looking forward very much to your company Monday night for the GTs. Venue to be confirmed for next Wednesday night, but we're back with you for the Hump Day Pilot Series and also the GT4 TCR on the back end of the up-and-comers. So looking forward to that next Wednesday night from around 7:30. So looking forward to your company for all of that and more. On behalf of the team here, just Rob and myself today. But of course, we need to thank all the boys that made the broadcast possible. Chris and Paul for sending the files through to make sure that the replays were able to go to air. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Round 8 of the Hump Day Pilot Series, and before that, the up-and-comers as well. Jackson Rayhana, Michael Hammond remain your championship leaders. They were dominant in their respective races here in Montreal, Canada. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve delivering 2 absolute crackers tonight. And of course, we should point out Ben Snell, it's a case of what might have been slowdowns and getting caught in traffic ended up being the nail on the coffin as far as his chances of victory were concerned. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to LJ Hook again, Central Coast Subaru Flash Graphics, and also Oculair on behalf of the broadcast team here. Doadrift Esports Motorsport and the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I'm Zach Caven signing off. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. I'm so used to saying Friday night. So tomorrow night for production cars, stock cars. Enjoy your Friday, everybody, and we look forward to your company back here same time, same place, 6:30 tomorrow night. Until then, bye for now.